Good morning. You are listening to the First Title National Real Estate Radio Show. I am your host, Doug Dennison, and we are broadcasting from beautiful St. Augustine, Florida, the nation's oldest city, at WFOY 1240 AM studios. Through the power of the internet, this program is being streamed worldwide on 1240news.com. The show will also be archived on FirstTitleServices.com, as First Title and Escrow, Inc. are the sponsors of this program. They are a leading national title agency, and pleased to be working with them. Additionally, this show will be posted on YouTube.com. Our radio show mission statement: to provide an educational experience for listeners in a promotional format for real estate sales across the country. We're going to be talking about real estate, different real estate markets across the country. We got a lot of topics today. We've got help and calls from a California company, a Florida company, a Maryland company. So we got good stuff. We're excited about that. A little bit about First Title. They are a national company. Their corporate headquarters is in Rockville, Maryland, right outside Washington, D.C. For all the good things, go on their website, which is www.firsttitleservices.com, or you can call them at toll-free at 866-484-8537. That's 866-484-8537 for all your title and closing needs for residential real estate and commercial real estate. So, again, it's great to be on the show. We are going to be talking about some really different stuff on the second part of the show. A good friend of mine went into a new business venture. It's real estate, but it's also community service, helping out a segment of our population, which I think needs help. So that will be interesting. I've been doing this real estate radio show for, I'm going to say, 6 years. Different real estate radio shows. And this one's exciting because this is title. I've been very involved in the auction business for 25 years. Real estate auctions, have met with great people, and very, very excited to do a different slant of helping buyers, helping sellers, helping lenders, government agencies. I have had the privilege of working with a various number of people and government institutions like the FDIC, the GSA, SBA, FISLIC, RTC, Department of Defense, the U.S. Marshals. All of these government agencies are good things, and I'm hoping to bring that to the table for First Title Services. And one of the things that I'd like to speak about, we've a caller. Good morning, you're on the air.
Doug?
Yes, sir.
Is this Larry Gautier? How you doing?
Well, I'm doing fine, and thank you so much for calling in. We had a last-minute call to you to see if you were available, and you bailed me out, sir. I thank you very much.
So how you been?
I've been fine. Larry, for our listeners, tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you do, sir.
I'm Larry Gautier. I'm here in Miami, Florida. Work for Kai's Real Estate Advisors. I've been doing commercial and corporate real estate throughout the state of Florida and in the country for the last 20 years, and been in the business for over 30. And I'm very proud to be able to call Doug Dennison a good and longtime friend.
Yes, we have been friends for a while, and I had the privilege of working with you at the Kai's Company. Tell us a little bit about the Kai's Company, if you would.
It's in its 87th year.
Wow.
It is a full-service firm. It has 30 offices throughout the state of Florida, from New Smyrna Beach down to Miami, with a majority of offices in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County.
All right.
It is family-owned by Mike and Tim Pappas, and we have over 1,800 associates, and again provide full service. So we've been doing it for a while here.
Well, I agree when you talk about family business, and I think that is the difference that makes Kai's really the leader in the South Florida market. It's a family-run business. Mike Pappas, CEO, Tim Pappas, CFO, brothers, family business, and they really treat those 1,800 people like family. And that's the difference where I see it from other organizations. They spend so much of their time helping out, guiding, teaching, reinforcing what they need to do to be successful. And I'm thrilled. 1,800 agents, that's wonderful. I had the privilege of working with the Pappas family. Let me see, what is it, 2001 to 2005. I was asked if I would put together an office in the Boynton Beach area, and with help from people like you, I was able to do that. We had 60 agents when I left 4 years later. We had 2 offices, and I hear over the wire that Boynton Beach is still doing very well.
It's doing extremely well, and you're being very modest. You were a catalyst in that marketplace back, as you said, back in 2001, and you just exuded all the characteristics, professionally and personally, just integrity and honesty, and just was a good person. You attracted a lot of top talent, Doug, and really launched that Boynton Beach area, that West Palm Beach area, and it continues to grow. And you set a very strong foundation, and you were a very good marketing person at the time, and you continue to be now. And I think people really believe in those guiding principles that you teach, which, as you mentioned, are consistent with the Pappas family, trying to do the right thing in the right way by people. And I think you and I have talked about this. I think people that are good and diligent in our business, they have choices as to where they work. But at the end of the day, it's about who they work with, and chemistry, and integrity, and quality of life. And you certainly, created that in Boynton Beach, and your legacy is it continues today and continues to grow.
Well, it's funny, Larry, because the second part of the show, Dolores Roth is actually going to be on the show, and she's been a longtime friend, and she was the assistant manager for me at Boynton Beach, and all those people really kind of made me look good. I was more into the marketing. They were the nuts and bolts, Marlene Rooks and Dennis Nelson and Gonzalo Herrera and Howard Gelpy and many, many others. They were the stronghold of that. But let's move on and talk about commercial real estate. What is happening in the South Florida area as far as you're concerned with Kai's, and give me a general feel of what Miami and South Florida has done in the real estate, both residential and commercial, in the past few years, if you will.
Okay. First, on the residential side, obviously we have a shortage of inventory. I'm sure you and your listeners have talked about that in South Florida. But the shortage of inventory of residential property, which is a two-edged sword. but a lot of offers on a property that comes on the marketplace. So a lot of demand for shortage of inventory on the residential side, which is driving prices up. On the condominium and rental side in Miami, it's continued to appreciate 20 to 30% in rental rates per year. We see that starting to taper off just a little bit here in Miami. On the commercial side, there's been a lot of development and requirements for multifamily condominiums and apartment rentals. That has been very strong, and that continues to be strong. There is some requirement for retail shopping centers, strip centers, if you will, and some industrial products. In Broward and Palm Beach County, you still see that consistent demand for commercial property. I'm not as involved day to day on the residential side up in Broward and Palm Beach as Doug, you might be aware of, but down here in Miami-Dade, we're doing extremely well. A lot of it is foreign investment, and that continues to fuel the growth, and we hope that continues.
Well, it still amazes me because, as I've talked about on the show before, it seems like California and Florida are the ones that go way, way up and then plummet way, way down. But I'm just shocked to see the turnaround so quickly, because I thought this was going to be a 5, 7, 8 year, maybe more kind of a dip. And the fact that you told me that the real estate agents are looking for inventory and the inventory is down is shocking. What is it? All of the international buyers that are really doing this, or what else is happening there, Larry?
Mainly the international buyers,
okay.
And more specifically Venezuela.
Oh, okay.
With the election that just happened down in Venezuela, with Chavez passing away, and the new leadership, the new political infrastructure there continues to tighten down on the private sector, and a lot of the individuals there want to basically invest in South Florida, put their money, if you will, into a safe haven, whether it be a primary home or a second home, whatever. That is basically what's fueling that. There are a lot of all-cash purchases. So the luxury market is going extremely strongly. And on top of that, I think we're seeing a little bit from the Northeast, New York, with some of the increased taxes that are imposing on their citizens. I think some of those folks, and there's always been a natural progression in the I-95 corridor. We're starting to see more of that as well.
Yeah. Always said the Northeast and Florida have a strong connection both ways. I think that Floridians buy property up there, and of course New England and the Northeast, they buy property down here, and they tend to bring their families and their employees, and it is a great connection. The interesting thing, I guess, because you and I worked together for 4 years, and we talked about, that Boynton Beach was successful, and again, I had serious help from you and others in that area, both above me and people that I was charged to supervise helped me also. But one of the things that you and I have that's a core belief is the community. And that's why I think we love working with the Pappas family, because they do too. And it's community, it's charitable giving, it's volunteering, it's helping to make the community better. And you have really taught me a lot in that vein. I know that you're very shy and humble, but I'm going to try to get you out there and tell me some of the things that you've been involved in. I know the Orange Bowl connection, and start there if you would.
Okay. As you know, very involved with a lot of different civic organizations for the fundamental reason of giving back. But some of those organizations are sports related.
Mm-hmm.
one of which is the Orange Bowl that you mentioned. We have a big footprint in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County. We have 300 members from those three counties.
Wow.
We have what we do. Not only do we put a football game on in January, but we do a lot of things during the year to give back to the community, whether it be sponsoring 20,000 Little League football players in leagues.
Wow.
All the way up to Lake Okeechobee.
Wow.
We also, on the female side, we will make sure we're take care of everybody. We also support the cheerleaders of all of those leagues as well. So we support the parks and the leagues so that these teams have the right equipment and the right infrastructure, whether it be scoreboards or stands, and the cheerleaders have their equipment as well. And it all culminates, Doug, in competitions in December. So we try to honor those teams and individuals, both cheerleading and football, that have done well. Also been involved with the Super Bowl host committee twice.
Wow.
The last two times it was here in South Florida back in 2007, 2010. So that was another way of connecting with the community. So all of these things are and last but not least, one of the most proudest things I'm involved with was the Miami-Dade Sports Commission, which partnered with the Broward Sports Commission and Palm Beach Sports Commission to bring events into the area and to also support our local teams, one of which you and I were very instrumental with back in 2002 when at the time the Florida Marlins were not doing real well at the time, but you and I had an idea that they were going to do something neat, and we went to the Pappas family and said, let's get on board and support these guys, and we did. And I think, Doug, you and I carried them to a national
World Series championship, and I do agree that you and I were probably the ones that pulled them over the line. I think that's really the case.
That's the story, and we're sticking to it. That's our story, and we're sticking to it.
Well, in business, you're always trying to, bond with. I love the word bonding. To bond with your people that you work with, and also your clients and your potential clients. And the Florida Marlins just did a tremendous job. They had a picnic area there that we went there. It seems like dozens of times, and brought 100, 200, 300, 400 people, because, again, the Kai's organization is, 1,800 people strong, and so we invited them from all the different offices. And I really think that made a huge difference for our business and the connection that we made with those clients.
I think so, Doug. I think, and as you and I planned this out, obviously the Marlins were the platform, but I think in thinking through this, you and I were very sensitive to the fact that they were the platform, but we had a lot of associates that had a lot of different, how should we say, passions for their community. It may have been through the PTA, through education. It may have been through helping youth or whatever. But what we did is we customized our approach. And I really defer to you on that because you really did a good job of helping out. The Marlins had a lot of initiatives that they had that we partnered up with the partner in bringing Billy the Marlin into an elementary school and talk about safety, or whether we did those picnics at the Marlins, which was for the purpose of bonding our 200 to 300 agents. A lot of times it was as simple as people get to know each other better, other than just names on the phone. Now they put a face to the name, which makes all the difference in the world. And so we really worked hard at having that customized approach that not only allowed Kai's to give back macro, but it also allowed our branch offices and our managers and our associates to get involved with specific things that they had passion for under that initiative umbrella in their local neighborhood. So I think kudos to you for really giving me guidance as to what those things were. And I think together we really worked it out. It was really a great initiative. It really was.
Buddy, I thank you so much for those kind words. We're going to have to leave, so I've got to let you go, but I want to know, how do people get a hold of you? How do people go to the Kai's organization? And because they're the leaders down there in South Florida.
Our website is www.keyes.com. And if people have any specific questions for me, my number is 305-397-6916, and I'm happy to help.
Larry, thank you so much, and have a wonderful weekend. I appreciate all your support and friendship.
Absolutely, Doug. You have a wonderful weekend yourself, and thank you for having me.
Take care.